Hello, everyone. Over the winter break in January 2026, I spent 3 weeks at Germany's Freie Universität Berlin, or Free University Berlin, pursuing a short-term course entitled Seduction and Terror, Hitler's Germany. The course was a thought-provoking analysis of the Third Reich, with a prime focus on the wider German populace and allowing Hitler's emergence to chancellorship and its consequent consolidation of power. The lecturer, Dr. Robert Waite, is a historian at the German Resistance Memorial Center in Berlin, and his lifelong research into this era of German history provoked a more introspective lesson for his students. The emergence of the Third Reich did not occur in a vacuum, so how in our society can we imagine a parallel event occurring? Personally, this course was not only a mere lesson into history, but rather offered a conceptually challenging question for the human consciousness. So, the course involved nearly 3 hours of in-class lecture per day, and then after those lectures, another 3 to 4 hours of field study, in which we were taken to museums, concentration camps, and monuments around Berlin. These included, but were not limited to, the Topography of Terror Museum, the Sachsenhausen concentration camp, the Papastrasse labor camp for political dissidents during the regime, um, along with the Blender Block, where Colonel Graf von Stauffenberg was executed for his attempted assassination of Adolf Hitler on the 20th of July, 1944. There were little assignments or coursework. Instead, we were asked to write a final paper on a topic pertaining to the course that we were also interested in. And after that, we completed a final exam. The final exam included three large questions, each question including 10 separate questions in which we were asked to deliberate and answer to the best of our ability. So without heavy coursework, students were given the opportunity to spend their free time exploring Berlin or even other cities around Germany and Europe, including many went to Munich or Prague, or München or Prague. However, we were also encouraged by a professor to travel to historical sites important to the history of the Third Reich. Um, although visiting these concentration camps was emotionally and mentally distressing, it offered a once-in-a-lifetime experience which bettered my understanding and many other students' understanding regarding the social climate which lingered over the Third Reich and allowed me to better understand the hardship Germany faced beforehand to allow such an evil regime to swiftly rise into popular consent. So preparation for the course and for life in Germany was pretty smooth. Due to unforeseen snowfall in southwest Germany, our dorms were unavailable. There was a sudden power outage, so the program ensured us a stay at hostel Mitte. It was free of charge, and afterward, we were offered a refund of financial compensation for the inconvenience, and there was other issues in the dorms due to issues revolving around weather. But despite that unforeseen event, the university or the program was very generous, very kind, and tried to make up for it as much as possible. They had also offered many different field trip opportunities. One of them was to Potsdam, although I did not participate. I've heard brilliant things from the way that it was organized. So, before arriving to Berlin, I purchased the monthly transportation pass. It's called the Deutschland ticket, which would cover my commute to campus as well as my travel around Berlin. These included buses and trains. After a week in the hostel, we moved to Studentendorf Schlachtensee, located in Schlachtensee in southwest Berlin. Despite being relatively far from the city center, Germany's efficient public transport made commuting to the city pretty simple. Furthermore, the program was held at Freie Universität's Geo campus, located in Langwitz. It's around an hour and 30 from the dorms. So it was best to wake up around 7 to ensure that I made it on time. Many ended up being tardy due to I'm waking up late or issues with public transportation. And it was not heavily policed, and a lot of grace and understanding was offered by the different lecturers working at the program. Studentendorf Schlachtensee wasn't the only the only option for accommodation. You could also opt to stay with a homestay or at a different hostel closer to Longfitz. So there was many options regarding that, and if you need accommodation, if you know anybody in Berlin, pretty simple. So one of the most interesting lessons I learned from the different tour guides at the museums we would commute to was that refusal to obey orders was not heavily policed and rarely ended in punishment during the Third Reich. During the Nuremberg trials, many National Socialists were exonerated. This was because the soldiers would claim that the orders that they were given by their higher-ups were strictly enforced, and to betray them could end in a risk for their own lives or their families' lives. However, it was later discovered that if a soldier did not want to follow a specific order, they would either be reallocated or discharged with little to no punishment, often no punishment. So for us students, it only begged the question, what provoked people to commit such evils in a willing manner? How does that kind of hysteria translate to modern society, and how can we prevent such atrocities from reoccurring? It became quite evident that the actions by the Third Reich were not from a center authoritarian voice calling uh, for forcing these people to do horrible things, but more so it was the popular consent and a widespread hysteria that allowed for the scapegoating of Jews, Romani people, homosexuals, disabled people, and people of different nationalities, including the French or the Russians or other Slavic countries. And in our society, how do we stop this from repeating? How do we allow for greater understanding of different individuals from different backgrounds? And having such a course in Germany with such a widespread international body, it was quite brilliant of a lesson to to see how people can connect and have shared perspectives about these kind of atrocities and how can we better foster understanding. And this is something that I thought was brilliantly not only offered by the or articulated by the course, but also Professor Robert Waite, our lecturer. So also because we had classes on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the rest of the week allowed us to explore Berlin. A large percentage of students were from South Korea, so many UNSANs would feel quite comfortable during the program. There was also students from Australia, from Belgium, from the United States, from Canada, from the United Kingdom. A very diverse kind of student body was participating in the program. Many were taking my course, which was again seduction and terror in Hitler's Germany. There was a course in international law and theory. There were many courses regarding the German language at different levels. Very diverse options that were available. However, there was also a very diverse student body, and we often spent time exploring vintage shops around Neukölln, or pub crawling around Rosenthaler Platz, or visiting landmark sites in Mitte. The experience allowed me to make lifelong friends and connect with people on a different level in our shared hope for fun and survival. I was also further acclimated to German culture. Even though I'd studied some German in high school, it was my first time in Germany. So the culture I found was very different from anything that I experienced in the United States or the United Kingdom or South Korea. And at times it was hard to understand social cues. But over time I was able to better understand these social cues and even was able to improve my German. I think at the end of the day, if I had to say what I thought about the program, I think it was a very formidable experience, once in a lifetime. Anybody deliberating whether over it might be worth it, it's not only the lessons that we were taught, but it was also having that ability to travel around a new city in a new country and experience a new culture and a new language that were some of the best experiences for me. Um, yeah, so thank you. Yeah, all recommended. Had a great time. Thank you.